Welcome back, race fans. It is indeed another Tuesday, and it is time for yet another race out here. I'm Luke up here in the broadcast booth with Ninth Gear Broadcasting, and I'm here joined alongside Kevin as always. Kevin, how you doing this afternoon?
Man, doing great. Happy to be here with WWSS for the evening. I don't know much about the Milwaukee Mile, but I know I'm going to learn out here. We've been watching practice, and it's a very interesting track.
That it is, Kevin. That it is. We got some very, very shallow turns, not much elevation, so I think we're in for a treat out here. It's going to be a very difficult track out here for the drivers to maintain that momentum out here through these turns, as you can see. Some very flat turns out here and a very flat track, but still a short one at that, and I think we're in for a good one. We got 20, I believe 29 drivers registered right now on the field. We have our qualifying grid. The guys are all done, and we're getting ready to start pacing around out here.
Absolutely. How about the lap time here for Dawson Price starting out on the pole? Now, Omar Rodriguez, he started P3, but he also has a penalty paid for to start at the rear alongside Connor Price. So the two of them are going to have to drop to the back once again.
Gotcha.
But just looking at your qualifying here, Dawson Price with the pole, Travis Farmer on his outside, that's your front row. Omar Rodriguez and Sean Merriman is your second row. Jacob Petrosky and Aiden Stevens. Nolan Gross and Garrett Hummel. Fifth rows, Kyle Reynolds and Connor Price. Nicholas Warner and Regan Shockley. Hunter Zell and Blaze Billing. Danny Barnes and Ty Carino. Heath Job and Kean Fry. Kyle Van Drunen and Justin Zemecki, Nathan Swafford and Cooper Liardi, Chad Strelo and Jeremy Osborne, Christopher McCullough and Buster Malcolm, Nick Hames and Matt Benke, and rounding out your field tonight is going to be Kenny McCullough.
And a good field out here tonight, Kevin. We got, a good list of the normal drivers out here. See Dawson Price dropping out there to the back. Serve that penalty off the rip here.
Yeah, and Luke, I just got word that the 92 is in for an interesting race of Omar Rodriguez, because as we know, he can have a drive-through penalty bought out where he has to have a drive-through penalty. So for this evening, he has 3 drive-through penalties.
Wow. I gotta say, that would be one hell of a story to tell at the end of this thing. Not gonna throw anything out there yet, but that would be one hell of a story. I will leave it at that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looks like we're in for some foggy weather right now, Kevin. I can't lie to you. I think it's a little foggy out there right now. If we just we just take a look out here, it is a foggy day. So visibility
Yeah.
definitely isn't going to be the greatest out here for the guys, or unfortunately for us up here.
Yeah, it's one of our more northern tracks on the schedule as well.
Yeah, that it is. Definitely up for some
Kind of
weird
out
weather.
there. But
So
as
we're
they
gonna.
pace around, the lights are off on the pace car, and we're getting ready to go green here. There are a couple updates on the vehicle with today's iRacing update. Pulling that up now. I don't know if it's anything that's going to be affected, but it is updates to the ARCA car. If I can find it.
Well, as Kevin looks for that, we're getting ready to round turn 4 and get this thing underway. It's going to be Jacob Petrosky and Travis Farmer here on the front row.
No more rear anti-roll
Well,
bar, so I don't know
we're
how
going to
that's
go
gonna
around
play.
again.
Going around one more time, clearing up whatever penalties I'm sure have to be established, whatever EOLs, just getting everybody into position.
Of course.
Yeah, no more anti-roll bar and a damage model update for the front and back end, so I don't know if that's really going to affect much out here, but
Hey, who knows? It just might. We'll see out here in just a couple turns out here. looks like the pace car is done turning laps. We're getting ready to go green out here. Flags waving, and Jacob Petrosky with the jump.
Yeah, and here we go. Jacob Petrosky, good jump for him. We see a lot of EOLs. I'm gonna have to sort out.
Yeah, definitely quite a few. And we got 150 laps to go out here in this thing, so I think tire saving is going to be pretty substantial on this track myself, Kevin. I know neither of us have the most amount of experience on this track, but just in general, shorter track fashion, I know tires are going to be of concern out here, especially with the very flat turns that we're seeing out here in this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Got 150 laps out here. Lap times are looking at about 30 seconds, so should be in for a pretty decent sized race.
Oh,
out
and we
here.
see a car going flying into the pit entrance there. Goes crashing right into the box almost, it looked like. We'll have to go back and take a look who that was. I'm reading Chad Strelo in the pits. We're still green out here, but let's go back and see if we can maybe get a...
Yeah, Nolan Rodriguez now taking his first drive through, and this could time out well if a caution were to fly. But it looks like
just a bit of a self-spin there for Chad Strelo.
Lucky the pit entrance was there, though. I mean,
yeah.
it could have been a night ender, but it wasn't, so...
That's true. Unfortunately, he is going to have to serve a black flag, likely for either unsafe pit entry or speed. Jacob Petrosky looking really good off of this start. Just taking a look at our map up here. One of the big factors that's going to come into effect out here, and I don't think it'll be too long, is going to be the lap traffic out here. It being as short of a track as it is, I don't think it's going to take too long for these leaders to catch up here, especially. It's already making up good time on Nick Hames right now. A lot of single file action right now. Nobody really wanting to get off that lower groove of the track right now.
Yeah, Jacob Petrosky seems to be pulling away a little bit here. I mean, he's increased that gap to about 8/10 on Nolan Gross and just keeps growing, so he seems to have this track figured out this far.
You see a battle going on right now between Heath Job and Ty Carino right now for 10th place.
Yeah, typically at these flatter tracks... Yeah, typically at these flatter tracks, the shorter way around is the quicker way around, so it's going to be interesting to see how these guys can pass on the outside here. Seems like it could be multi-grooved as you see him just hanging on. Get the exit speed.
Definitely struggling on that outside line. You really can't get too much draft support here through these turns, but Reagan Shockley going to opt to just file in behind Heath Job now. He's moved up to 9th place. Pack remains most of the same right now. Jacob Petrosky, Nolan Gross, got Travis Farmer. A lot of the same faces we saw up here in the front off the start out here, so not much has changed. But the pack has started to fade off out there. About the 102 of Buster Malcolm and 20th back.
Yeah, and look, I can already tell that this is going to be one of those races where lap traffic is going to start playing a factor. And if you're Jacob Petrosky, at least, you know, you want to start putting cars between you and Nolan Gross. But at the same time, the O2 could benefit from lap traffic if it came down to it. So it's just going to be an interesting race here. And that's assuming we stay green, of course. But, you know, so far so good.
Just taking a look here, it looks like our fog has begun to somewhat clear up out here, so the visibility may be looking a little better for the drivers out here and for us. It doesn't really seem to be an issue for Jacob Petrosky. He's now over a 1.5-second lead now, second place.
Yeah, and you know, Omar Rodriguez now sitting a lap down due to that first drive-through, and I think, you know, it being a green flag race so far is, for the first time of the season, not what he wanted to see, because he's not going to be able to naturally get his lap back. So he's kind of hoping for that lucky dog soon so he can get to that second drive-through that he's been given, but yeah, just looking, Connor Price has been making moves. He was also the other guy that had been bought out to the back, so it's good to see him at least going in the right direction.
And you looking up there at your track map, Jacob Petrosky is not too far off of Nick Hames in the 31, the next vehicle at risk of going a lap down out here, if they can catch him. But Omar Rodriguez definitely hunting for that lucky dog position.
Kyle Reynolds, he's had a good start to this race. Started in P9 and he's made his way up to 4th, moving in the right direction. Laps into this thing. Chad Strelo, a little update on him. He's back on the track, but serving both penalties for speeding and unsafe. He's now 4 laps down.
Unfortunate.
So, yeah, rough start to the race. A lot of racing left, though, so he's back out here turning laps.
We see quite the battle going on right now behind Dawson Price. That's Christopher McCullough and Connor Price, both battling it out right there for the position of, I believe, P13, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Nolan Gross just gave up 2 spots here towards the lead. Three now. It seems that the O2 is starting to fade off a little bit.
Maybe a case of burning tires early, or maybe just a case of lifting off a little bit and taking it a little easier. Who knows?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see now if Travis Farmer has anything for your leader as far as pace goes. You know, he just made up about a 10th there, but it's very back and forth. We saw Nolan Gross kind of losing a 10th a lap-ish to Jacob Petrosky, so, you know, orders change now, and it's going to be interesting to see. Can we see last lap times? That's something we can see.
That is going to be the last lap times up there right now for the top 20.
Yeah, Travis Farmer looking pretty quick out here.
have to see if that trend can continue. So we'll see this time by. Identical lap times.
Yeah, that's crazy, but it's also kind of telling here that, everybody in that top five is very on pace with each other. Sean Merriman had the quickest lap out of the top five there by 200ths, so not too much is changing out here. Travis Farmer, since coming up to second, has gotten about 3/10 on your leader, but at the same time, Jacob Petrosky can kind of pick his pace. If he wants to save some tires, he could do that. If he wants to try to put some cars in between him and second place via lap traffic, he can do that. It's got to pick your pace when you have a 2-second lead. So, we're going to see some strategies coming into play, and we can only hope that Travis Farmer isn't burning off his tires too much.
Yeah, and I was going to say, with them all matching around that same pace, it really is going to come down to a game of tire conservation out here and knowing when to burn them and when to save them out here. Still a lot of single file racing all the way through out here. We're not really seeing too many lead change or position changes out here. Sense of your pace out here. There's your leader. Kind of get an idea of just how spaced apart this pack is right now. Door to door now. It's Ty Carino and Dawson Price battling it out for 10th place. It looks like the speed's going to be to the inside here for Dawson Price. He's got Christopher McCullough riding his bumper right now. Connor Price behind him. Overall, though, a very clean start to this race out here. We ran 27, going on 28 laps now so far. And only the one minor scuffle out there. It wasn't even an incident. You can call it an incident.
How about Dawson and Connor Price look up to 10th and 12th?
Yeah, and they've definitely been looking pretty good out here. They just made the transfer around Ty Carino with Christopher McCullough. Now we're seeing a fight for, I believe, 5th place right now. Ooh. Now Hunter Ezell and Garrett Hummel briefly battling there for a second as they're going to get back to single file racing. Just taking a look out here. We're looking at a nice warm 65-degree day out here. A little overcast. 82-degree track temperature, so 25-mile-an-hour winds too. Jeez.
Yeah, that's Wisconsin for you.
Some very interesting conditions out here for this.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Just can't really tell by the map because the map's so spread out. But we got the leader kind of on an island of his own, then 2 and 3 of Travis Farmer and Sean Merriman kind of together. Then there's a big gap to 4th, 5th, and 6th of about, I want to say 3.5 seconds. And just checking with our chat, there is not stages out here, so it's just 150 lap shot to the end.
As it stands, making his way around lap traffic, Jacob Petrosky, putting some space between him and second place, or at least attempting to. And nothing to complain about at all. Right now, we're looking at a 100% fuel capacity set for these guys. They have 3 additional sets of tires apart from the set they have on right now, so 4 in total.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure what the window is on fuel, but
we know they started with 100% of whatever the default is for these vehicles. I don't quite know what that would be off the top of my head here.
Look, we don't get too many green flag pit stops, but I am feeling good about this evening. We've been 36 laps green thus far. We've seen some good battling, very clean battling.
I was just touching on that. It brings a good point. It also brings a little bit of worry in me, because I feel like every time we say something like that, something catastrophic happens. But so far, these guys have been able to put on a pretty clean show out here for the most part. Nothing going on as far as we can see. Everybody doing what they can to get around that lap traffic. It looks like the lap traffic is kind of helping Travis Farmer right now. He's made up some time on Jacob Petrosky.
Yeah, he has. When Travis Farmer made the pass for second, it was at about 2.4 second gap. Now it's just a mere second, so he's definitely moving in the right direction. Same time though, you gotta wonder how hard has Jacob Petrosky been pushing it and how hard has Travis Farmer been pushing it. If I was Petrosky, I would have, paced it back a little bit with the gap I had created and try to save some tire.
I guess we'll have to see how it pans out for him here as we get later and later into this first pit window.
Yeah, no problem. Kyle Reynolds looking good sitting in 7th. Had some very good pace on the early run. I think he's made it up to as far as P4 this evening.
See a bit of a battle going on behind Kyle right now. We see Dawson Price and Nolan up there battling it out for, is that 9th place?
Yeah, and that gap now under a second. Sean Merriman has been able to follow, but that next group we were talking about is now 4 seconds back on him.
I mean, by group, I think you only mean 2 cars, Garrett Hummel and Hunter Azell, and then it's split up even further than that, a little further back, with Aiden Stevens and Dawson Price and the rest of those guys still battling it out for that round top 7 position. Farmer now. Still closing the gap here on Jacob Petrosky. Currently getting a reading that Ty Carino briefly went off the track. But he seems to be alright. Go back and take a gander at that, see if there's anything. Oh! A little bit of contact there between Ty Carino and Heath Job. Let's go back and take a gander at that. Didn't bring out a caution or anything, but a little tap there nonetheless from them. Ty Carino briefly going off the grass, but holding it together as we still remain under green as we are on lap now 46. A very good green flag stretch so far out here for these guys.
Yeah, look, and we're almost a third into this race without a caution. I mean, this has been an incredible green run for the guys.
So
Maybe,
far,
dare I say, so far the best of the season?
I definitely think it would be, I don't think it would be much of an argument, for being honest with you, Kevin. I think this one easily takes the take out here for the longest green flag run we've had out here this season.
Yeah, Luke, I mean, I don't say it much, but I think these guys are going to have to start thinking here soon about pitting. At least within the next 20 to 30 laps. I don't know if it's a one-stopper or two-stopper, but regardless, we've gotten deep into this race. I know not only is Omar Rodriguez probably a little upset, but Chad Strelo as well. Both of those guys had either issues or penalties early and haven't really had a chance to recover from them because we've been green this whole time.
And it is going to be a tough one here when we make it into the pits out here on this first green flag pit cycle, if we do see it, of course. It's going to really shake up the strategy out here for a lot of these guys. I feel like with the mix-up on the track right now and how spread apart these guys are out here, everybody's going to be going into completely different strategies out here. So you're going to have a couple guys that are really rushing off out of here to try to make up some time, and maybe some guys out here really are just trying to get out of the pit safely. It can really lead to some chaos out here, I know. Speaking from some personal experience out here, I know Ninth Gear's never been the most renowned for their pit cycles. A lot of two-wide action going on right now up here in the top five.
How about Connor and Dawson Price? Keeping my eye on them because they have been moving in the right direction all race. Connor up to 8th, Dawson up to 6th. Both of them having a very good run starting from the back.
Travis Farmer he's within he's within 2 car lengths of Jacob Petrosky now. He's ready to try to match his pit cycle out here, I imagine. Awesome Price now looking at the outside. It's best to try to make his way around Garrett Hummel. Awesome Price now shooting the inside. Garrett Hummel here, he's going to be looking for the pass.
Yeah, and Luke, we're 60 laps into this thing. And, I got to imagine these guys' tires are starting to feel it. I can't say I've ever run the track, but I know these flat tracks, I can't save my tires on them.
Kevin, you know how I am about saving my tires. There's a reason I prefer the super speedways.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Ooh, and going a little bit high there was the '09, Travis Farmer.
A little squirrely up there in the front.
It's a 4/10 of a second gap from Travis Farmer to Jacob Petrosky. I mean, he's been hunting him down for the past, I'd say, 30, 40 laps here, and he's finally got him in his sights. The question is, does he have the tires to pass him?
We'll have to see out here. I guess the question is, does he want to before this pit cycle comes through? One we really haven't talked about much, Kevin, is Sean Merriman. He's really not far off of Travis Farmer and Jacob Petrosky. And I believe we have our first taker on the pits right now, Kevin. Justin Zemecki has entered pit lane. And there's two. It's the 11 of Kyle Reynolds. First two takers out here. The question is, when will the leaders? It's going to shuffle them down a lap after that pit, but not many since those two. Getting a little bit of room to breathe here as Farmer and Merriman have to make their way around some lap traffic.
Yeah, and Luke, if you were a Farmer, would you try to come in before or after the leader here?
I was kind of pondering the same question to ask back to you, but to answer your question, I would want to be following the leader. I'll be honest. I don't like making the call to go in for as the leader. I kind of like to match the leader and play it off of that and strategize off of what he does personally. But I'm gonna bounce that question back to you. What do you think?
Yeah, I've got to agree. The last thing Travis Farmer needs is a caution to put him a lap down at the worst time coming in early. So I think I'd wait for the leader if I were him. But at the same time, I really can't say what these guys' tires are feeling like.
I really have no read on that. I mean, we can.
Also, if I was Farmer and I saw like a big pack of lap cars coming up, I might say, hey, I don't want to waste the time and get stuck by these lap cars and just take the pit then. But I don't know, very situational.
Yeah, definitely very situational. And just looking at your map out here, they got a little break of lap cars here and there. They're just passing a couple. But after that, it seems like they're going to have a pretty good stretch until they get to that back half out here. But that's all assuming we don't see any pits here in the next handful of laps. Which, I'll be honest, I think we will.
And hitting that 70 lap mark here is almost putting us halfway. And Travis Farmer seems to have lost some pace. Look, he's had it down to about 3/10, and now it's back to about a lap and a half. So Jacob Petrosky may be saving a little bit of extra tire here for the end of this run.
Yeah, maybe. And if he is, he's putting it to work right now, putting up as much time as he can on him possible before bringing it in.
And he's closed that gap up a little again, and maybe he was just having some trouble navigating through some lap traffic, as his last lap time was a lot quicker there. Continuing to move in the right direction, though, is Dawson Price, who's cut this gap to 6 seconds. He wasn't about 8 handful of laps ago, so he's up into 4th. And maybe having some trouble with our broadcast because we're looking at a fire truck.
And we're staring at Jacob Petrosky right now. I'm not too sure what that camera angle was, but he's in pit road right now with Dawson Price.
I got you. A couple guys opting to come in and cut it right down the halfway point. Now the question is asked, when is Travis Farmer and Sean Merriman going to come in? They've seen the leader do it, and I think any second now is the time for that. But Travis Farmer going to get a lap lead, as well as Sean Merriman, who makes the dive on Farmer. They're battling for the lead now.
Yeah, not battling much as Sean Merriman flew around him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that would be
Travis
why.
Farmer
Going into the pits.
goes into the pits. Sean Merriman, how long do we think he stays out, Luke? Is there any strategy to trying to run it long here?
I guess it just kind of depends on how your tires are feeling. We know he hasn't been up there really burning them too much out there. He's been kind of sticking behind Travis Farmer in 3rd place for the majority of this long green flag run. So maybe he's got more tires on him right now. Maybe he's got a little more he can, a little more he can utilize before he's got to bring it in out here.
Yeah, and whatever he can keep now, or whatever he can stay out now, is going to help him at the very end of the race if we stay green. He's bleeding time. Like, I don't know if we can look at last lap times. Dawson Price just did. Or well, where's Petrosky? He did a 30.4. Merriman did a 30.5. I mean, I don't know, Luke. That's a lot closer than I thought it'd be. Merriman on old tires only a couple tenths off pace.
Wow.
And into the pits he's going to go. So he's going to give himself, a little 5 lap buffer, but it's going to be interesting to see how much time he lost doing so. As he comes into the pits alongside Connor Price.
Making his way out now. Coming in now is Garrett Hummel, who was briefly leading this thing. He is going to be passed off now to Hunter Azell. Zell making his way in. Kenny McCullough out there leading now. Or Christopher, sorry. Christopher's out there leading. Kenny's running second. I imagine they'll be looking to pit here before too long. They are the two longest stint drivers out there right now on the oldest set of tires and oldest wheels. Both the McCulloughs into the pits. So is Reagan Shockley. Now that's going to open the door back to Jacob Petrosky.
Yeah, just what I was about to say here, and we look, and the gap is really increased here. And it just shows that early tire run speed that Jacob Petrosky has. Nobody has anything like it. I imagine he had a little bit better pit stop than Travis Farmer as well, but overall, I pin most of this on just pace. I mean, he's pulling away from him. And he's doing it quick, Luke, because I'm looking at the timing here, and
he's moving, but
yeah, he's moving. But how about Sean Merriman? He's only 3/10 behind Travis Farmer, and he got that little buffer as far as staying out goes, so he might have something for the end of this run. For at least P2.
And definitely an interesting scenario in this race so far, Kevin. If you would have told me that we would have lasted, 80 laps out here on a full green flag run, I probably wouldn't have believed it.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm pretty proud of the guys out here for how they've done so far.
Yeah, definitely better than I could have done.
Likewise.
We see both Sean Merriman and Travis Farmer a little bit quicker last lap, but how about Dawson Price a lot quicker last lap, about half a second, as he's gotten on his horse and he's trying to find his way into a podium spot after starting at the back. I'm going to try to get a read on what that penalty was that forced him back there.
And it doesn't look like that fog can be letting up anytime soon now, Kevin, if I'm being honest.
Well, what can you do?
Not much. Not much. Just taking a look out there, definitely. Well, seems like it's gotten a little worse.
Yeah, and just looking here, Luke, EOL's heading into the race where the 4 car, the 54 car, and the 52, 63, and 27 from races previously. So 5 EOLs. I think 2 served here tonight. If I'm not mistaken, only the 4 and the 54 out here. So the 54 of Dawson Price, though, hasn't let it get him down as he's, making a charge for the front right now.
Yeah, that he is, Kevin. He's already into a top 5 position, and he is not too far off those top 3. Or I guess off those
2 and 3, I got
off
you.
2 and 3, yeah, off 2 and
3. Yeah, absolutely here. He's got a good chunk of this race still to go, over 60 laps to go in this thing, so, slow and steady, but at the same time not, because I think he was another, few tenths faster that lap. And just seeing what Sean Merriman's lap times were able to be at the end of last run, I'd imagine these guys aren't going to be as careful in saving tires. Maybe a little less important than they thought almost. Unless, Sean Merriman's just a god at saving tires. It didn't seem like it killed too much pace, so these guys, might just be putting the pedal to the metal knowing that.
Just 14 cars on the lead lap still. soon to be 13 as Jacob Petrosky is looking at the bumper of Heath Job. It's now going to be the next lap car down. Now the gap's about closed, Kevin. Sean Merriman is up here on Jacob Petrosky's bumper just about. Travis Farmer not too far off him. The wall a little bit up there is Heath Job. That's definitely going to knock him off speed a little bit. We approach the 100 lap marker out here, Kevin. We've seen some pretty good racing out here thus far in this green flag stretch. If you had to put some money on someone, who would it be right now in this situation?
It's a good question. I gotta go Sean Merriman just because he got that little buffer staying out a little bit. I know I was just saying tires don't matter too much, but with him being only 2/10 behind right now, I think it matters enough. I think if he can make the pass on Petrosky cleanly, I think he's got a good shot.
Oh, 3 wide for the lead briefly. Sorry to cut you off there, Kevin, but now Sean Merriman, the man you're talking about, shoots the inside as soon as Jacob Petrosky had the move on Heath Job, and now is the leader of this race. So it seems your call might have been right out here, Kevin, as he now makes his way up to the front.
Yeah, very, very quick pass there, and that's exactly what he needed. And now Jacob Petrosky also having a little bit of trouble with Heath Job on his outside. That's just everything the 18 car needs to see. But I wouldn't factor out Dawson Price here. You know, he's got the pace. Just, I don't know if he has the time. I know we have 50 laps left, but he was running a 10th of a lap faster. He'll be running hundredths faster now, at best, just because all these guys are starting to wear off their tires. All these guys are starting to, you know, run similar lap times. But I think Sean Merriman's my favorite right now.
Yeah, I think it's a very safe pick out here, and I'll be honest, I think my vote would probably go on the same.
That being said, if we were to see a caution loop, we know Jacob Petrosky has insane short run speed, especially on fresh tires.
It's all very situational. We're just getting close to that 100 lap marker out here, so we got a little more than 50. We got 53 left to go in this thing. So we're going to see how this one shapes up out here in this back half. As it stands right now, Sean Merriman putting up a bit of time on Jacob Petrosky.
Yeah, and hitting that 100 lap mark, we're about 2/3 of the way through this race, and I gotta say, Sean Merriman is putting up some pretty quick laps. I don't see anybody catching him on pace right now. Not Petrosky, not Farmer, not Price.
And at the current pace he's going right now, I don't think there's anyone that can catch him right now, but the only thing that's going to come into question are those tires out here. But once again...
Ooh, and the caution's out.
Oh! And I'm currently getting a read on Chad Strelo right now has crashed, and the only one that I'm reading right now. But what an interesting caution now, Kevin. That leaves just 13 cars on the lead lap out here. And I think possibly a lucky dog for Heath Job. Maybe 14 on the lead lap after that. But either way, let's go back and break this down and see if we can figure out what happened here.
Watching Kenny McCullough here.
Wrong thing. There we go.
There he is.
Say. Oh.
Chad Strelo, same spot as we saw earlier, just getting loose out of 4. This time staying on the racing surface and making contact with that inside wall. Gets it rolling again. I don't know, Luke. Dare I say, didn't need to be a caution?
If we're throwing out our own argument, I don't think it should have been. But
yeah, you know, we got the green flag pit stops.
We got the longest green flag run that we've seen out here.
Yeah.
So cannot complain about that whatsoever. But either way, that's going to bring the room for the pit cycles for everybody right now. Everybody making their way through right now, including your leaders. But as it stands, Kevin, we have one that opted to stay out. And that's Ty Carino, last pit on lap 76.
Yeah, Ty Carino staying out, but Jacob Petrosky actually beating Sean Merriman off of pit road, which is actually very interesting because Sean Merriman had worked about 100 laps to pick up that position, and he's giving it back on pit road. How about Dawson Price? He's got a lot of pace. You want to bring him up and see what he has to say about this race?
Bring him on in. Let's hear what he's got.
Hey, Dawson, guys in the booth, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, you've had the pace all race. We know you started with an EOL, and you've had to pass a lot of cars to get where you're at, but we've been keeping an eye on you and your speed out here. You know, the caution flies now. Do you feel like that helps you and puts you in a spot to possibly go and get yourself a win?
Yeah, I definitely think the caution coming out has given me a pretty good chance. I noticed there on that run coming through the field with Merriman that I was like, dang, like, I think we're pretty on the pace. Like, this car's running pretty dang good. Like, I knew it was pretty fast, but coming up through the field again, I was like, dang, like, I think we got a race car under here, and the caution just makes it even better now. They're all closer. Get a new fresh set of green tires on the bad boy and get ready to go.
Absolutely. Well, good luck in the rest of this race. We hope to talk to you in a little bit.
Thank you so much.
That was Dawson Price, currently running P5 as they're getting ready to go green one lap more of pacing.
Yeah, and he's not sitting in a bad spot at all right now, Kevin. He's sitting just behind that second row right there on the inside. And I gotta say, the inside, in my opinion, would have to be the preferred line out here off this start. I know we haven't seen a restart out here yet, but if I had to take a guess, I would definitely say if you can control that inside line on the restart, I feel like you got a really big advantage going into this first turn.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you were right. Heath Job getting the lucky dog. How about Omar Rodriguez also getting his lap back? But unfortunately for him, he's I think he's got more drive-throughs to serve.
I think he does, Kevin. I think he does. And what was the starting counter?
I think it was 3.
3. I'd like to point out, Kevin, we have a couple of drivers out here who have not pit just to stay on the lead lap out here. Justin Zemecki last pit on lap 62. Omar Rodriguez last pit on lap 79.
Yeah, and I think Omar Rodriguez took the wave around knowing that he's gonna go back down a lap again, regardless, if he has another drive-through. So just trying to do what he can to avoid going multiple laps down. Another guy I kind of want to focus for a minute is Connor Price. We haven't really gotten to see what he's capable of. We know he's made it all the way from the back up to 7th. It looked like Dawson coming from the back had better pace, but Connor Price could very well be a contender in this thing.
And we'll have to see what they can do out here. Both the Price brothers in a very good position up here within the top 10 out here. And it's going to make for a very, very interesting end to this race out here. We got just a handful of laps left out here. 45 laps out here, getting ready to get this thing underway. Flags waving, and we are green once again out here. And a good jump on the inside here for Ty Carino.
Yeah, Sean Merriman followed him through. Not quite able to clear, but he's going to have the inside going into turns 3 and 4, and Sean Merriman is now clear of that second place spot. First place amongst those on the new fresh tires. Ooh, but a little slide there gets him really squirrely, and we're 3 wide. How about Dawson Price trying to take advantage of the situation?
Inside. Now back on the inside is Jacob Petrosky.
Yeah, Jacob Petrosky, and clear through it is Dawson Price.
Man.
Now in a great position.
Some very early moves off this restart here, Kevin. They know how crucial it is.
Oh!
Shit!
Travis Farmer hard into the wall.
Kenny McCullough down into the grass.
And we are under caution.
Oh, man. And Kevin, I see some very heartbreaking news right now. I'm seeing meatball flag for Travis Farmer.
Yeah, and that one does have to sting because he's had a great run here tonight. We saw him fighting for the lead at one point, chasing down Jacob Petrosky in the whole first half of this race. Let's take a look at what happened here. He's holding that outside line. Ooh, and Aiden Stevens. Ooh, Connor Price maybe some front end damage too. And just a big stack up there. I'm not quite sure who to pin that one on if we go back and look. I don't know, kind of. Let's see. So, turning in, Travis Farmer not expecting Aiden Stevens to try to shoot the gap there, and kind of just, I don't know.
Definitely a
I'd
tough
call
one
that
to
one
call.
almost a racing incident because Aiden Stevens thought he had the gap, kind of went for a late break. Travis Farmer didn't see it or expect it, and there's just no room for either of them. And then Kenny McCullough
checking up. Attempting to check up there takes a bit of damage there, but I don't think it was too awful much. We see him, Omar, and Travis Farmer all making their way into the pits. But Ty Carino's still remaining up here in the front of the lead.
Yeah, and that was either a perfectly timed or a very poorly timed caution for Omar Rodriguez in his drive-through situation, because I don't know if he got it off or not. He entered the pits, but I don't know if he got to the line.
Lights off the pace car, so we're going to be going green this time. Ty Carino on the inside and Dawson Price on his door. It's going to bring us to just under 40 laps to go out here, 39 to go remain in the race. Green flag is in the air. We're getting ready to get this thing underway.
Yeah, back to 16 cars on the lead lap, so the number's going up now with the cautions. We are green flag racing. A good launch there for Dawson Price. He's going to make the pass already on Ty Carino. Ty Carino gets bumped out of the way.
Split. Sean Merriman,
Sean Merriman using a little bit of his car.
Letting him know he's there. And how about it? Dawson Price with a jump and a half up here. Up to the lead of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. To the point, and that's exactly what he wanted.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Oh! Caution flies in the 11 car. Oh!
Oh, man.
He's just going to take a tow.
Oh, Lord. One hates to say it, Kevin, but when it rains, it pours.
Yep.
We see the 3-wide situation go through 3 and 4.
Ooh, and just
Oh my.
kind of either expected the car on the second line, and Danny Barnes takes a hard shot at the end of that one, but either expected the car middle to kind of go up and pinch the top and thought he had more room, or just didn't see the car. But regardless, takes a huge shot there. Kyle Reynolds, after having a good day, is more than likely
Hard
done.
shot.
A couple of them.
Yeah, no doubt. Either way. Brings us back up here to our leaders, though. Dawson Price still leading this thing away out here. Now going to be starting off here in the front for his first restart of the race.
Back to pacing around here, Luke, and Dawson Price has to be feeling pretty good, don't you think?
Absolutely out here. He had a really good transfer out there off this last restart. I think he's got to at least be a little bit excited out here to be leading his first restart out here of the race out here. So definitely a very good chance for him to get a good foothold here out to finish this thing. Light is off the pace car. We're getting ready to get this thing underway once again. Sean Merriman and Dawson Price going to battle it out here for the front. Green flags the call, and off we go, and a great jump for Dawson Price on that inside as he's going to clear all the way around Bit of 3 wide going on in there in the back briefly around Kenny McCullough. Everybody getting through it out here for this first lap. As we now have just 16 vehicles on the lead lap out here right now.
Yeah, and Sean Merriman right on the heels of Dawson Price. How about Garrett Hummel, who we haven't talked too much about this evening, sitting in third, following suit. Ty Carino on those older tires in fourth, and Connor Price has made it up to fifth.
And Garrett Hummel putting up a 29.78 last lap. Very strong lap time out here for him. That's his best lap of the session. I'll rephrase that. The best lap of our session out here tonight.
Yeah, and he's right on pace there with the front too, probably feeling pretty good. Your top 5 all within about a second of each other with 30 laps to go out here.
Now how about it? A little bit of a battle going on right now for second place. Garrett Hummel shoots the inside on Sean Merriman. Now Connor Price knocking at the door behind him. Oh man, Kevin, I'm reading a crash. I'm reading a crash, and I'm reading another yellow flag. And I see 3 cars involved in this one. I'm reading Buster Malcolm, Nicholas Warner, and Chad Strelo once again. Let's go back and take a look at this one. This is going to bring us to our 4th caution now. And it takes us to the overhead of Hunter Azell. Too sure why it's going to take us to that. I don't think that's...
I think this one happened right around Chad Strelo, I saw.
As Buster Malcolm, we know he was involved in this one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Is that Warner in front of him right there?
I believe that is Warner in the 29. Yep, Warner in the 29. And then who is that came in there at the end? The 4.
It looks to me like Warner got a little bit tight and slowed down a little bit, and Buster Malcolm just unable to read it and collecting both of them. And then it looks like Chad Strelo kind of took a sideways approach to stopping, so he didn't get into it. And honestly, pretty cool.
Yeah, they all kind of... I mean, when we went back and we panned back to the initial wreck, like, I mean, it kind of lined up pretty cool. They were all, like, facing almost the same direction.
Yeah. But, yeah, good on Chad Strelo to not take any contact there. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get us another interview rolling while we pace around here. I'm gonna see what Garrett Hummel's up to. Hey, Garrett, guys in the booth, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Hey, man, so far so good in this thing. You're up to second place and you're showing very good pace out here. I gotta ask though, we've started to see, the cautions pour in. Would you like to see this thing go green for the rest and kind of showcase a little run between you and Dawson Price, or do you feel good about your short run strength and kind of don't mind these cautions?
I was hoping it would go green the whole way, but I'm going to give Dawson a run for his money here and see what I can do with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's going to be interesting to watch you two go at it for the next 25 or so laps. Wish you the best of luck and hope we can talk to you after the race.
Thanks. Hopefully enjoy the rest of it.
Thanks. That was Garrett Hummel, sitting second right now, looking good.
Pace car is going to be crawling in this time by Dawson Price and Garrett Hummel. Green flag, here we go, and another great jump for Dawson Price.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting about 4/10 out, 5/10. And, starting on that inside line, it's kind of where you want to be. I know these guys kind of wish they had to choose. Because honestly, I think Garrett Hummel would start behind the leader. It seems like that inside line gets such a surge. Whoever starts behind him benefits as well.
Yeah, absolutely. How about Connor Price now making his way up into third place? Both the Price brothers now up into the top three with just 25 laps to go.
Sean Merriman right now in a Price sandwich. But he's got the speed right now to keep up with Dawson Price. He's only, 2 or 3 tenths off. Here we go, Sean Merriman with 24 to go. Looking for any sort of run he can get on Dawson Price. But they are dead even right now. Can we look at the last lap times? Because I think they're going to be close. Yeah, 700.
Yeah, very.
Of a difference here, but the 700th is in favor of Dawson Price, which I think is important here.
Absolutely.
Also, Garrett Hummel making his way back around Connor Price. He's had the fastest lap, that last lap. Hoping he didn't bury himself too much there on that restart.
Single file all the way through out here.
Yeah, but how about Sean Merriman? He is right to the bumper, and Hummel's right to the bumper of him.
And Garrett Hummel not too far off him as well. Gets a little loose there out of turn 4. I don't know if you caught that there, but he briefly got loose there out of the exit of turn 4. Tire wear definitely starting to show out here, as everybody that you're seeing on your screen right now, last pit on lap 101. Apart from Christopher McCullough, who's up into lap 122 is his last pit.
Yeah, James, absolutely. Both having a great run. Both had to start at the rear tonight and have passed a lot of cars to be where they are, 1-4. Dawson Price trying to defend his lead as Sean Merriman takes an outside look and kind of opens the window to Garrett Hummel.
We're getting word in the chat right now, Kevin. Papa Price looking for the Sun 1-2 is what he's looking for tonight out here.
Yeah,
so
trying to get that 1-2, and with the battle going on right now, I wouldn't say it's impossible. Chris McCullough just made it around Connor Price, but these guys up front are definitely wasting some time as far as pace goes to defend each other and attack each other. It's good defense there from Dawson Price, though, as Sean Merriman has to regroup and try again. As he goes to that outside kind of half groove again, kind of diamonds that we've seen all night. He's really driving this thing to the max.
Just trying to find any bit of speed he can out here to try to catch up to Dawson Price.
And Christopher McCullough really on the move right now as he moves up into third. He's kind of come out of nowhere. We know he's good at short tracks. He seems to be good at this one. Kind of mid-intermediate style as well, as he's up into P3 and charging.
And we're seeing our top 6 kind of start to run away here from that 7th and on position right now. They've created about a second gap now.
And Christopher McCullough fighting for second now. As he looks to the inside, not going to have it that through turns 3 and 4. Files back in.
We know he's on the newer car out here, Kevin, so I mean, you gotta wonder if that's gonna play anything into this with just 15 laps to go. 14 now this time by.
Yeah, can we see last lap pits?
As of right now, I don't even... The only thing that's different right now, I'm seeing 101 for pretty much everybody in your top 10, apart from Christopher McCullough, that was 122, and then we have Connor Price and Hunter Azell both took one on 101. So pretty much around this, everybody's around the same, apart from Christopher McCullough. He took the lead.
Okay.
Seems like everybody else within his pit strategy are sitting about 9th and on.
Gotcha.
Oh, and he clips the wall a little bit there on the exit of turn 4 and gets his Milwaukee stripe.
Yeah, and he's able to maintain kind of that half a second gap, where Sean Merriman's right in between, about quarter of a second gap, but Dawson Price has done a very good job keeping his lead here, not letting anybody put up a real fight for it.
He's definitely not making it easy, no doubt. Connor Price kind of trailing a little bit here from that front group. As we
How about
slowly...
Omar Rodriguez? Has he served all 3, Luke?
I'm not seeing any flags currently up right now on my RC right now.
I know he served that first one on the long green flag run, got the lucky dog, and then served one in the midst of a caution. He might have gotten that third one served in the midst of the next caution. And if so, was very lucky with these cautions, and is now contending for a top 5 finish here.
You know, like I said at the start of this thing, Kevin, a story of what could have been, or what could be.
Yeah, and when was his last pit? Because we know he stayed out and took a wave around at one point. 108, so a little bit
Slightly
fresher.
later. Yeah, slightly later than the majority of the group. The main group, like I said, is kind of split between 122 and 101. He's kind of the only one that took that middle strategy. Which I'm assuming is to, deal with all those penalties. But definitely a good position for him. He's just now sitting outside of top 3. His lap traffic is now starting to become a factor here. And, Christopher McCullough having a tough time getting around him.
Yeah, he's able to make the pass for second, but that whole group has lost a lot of time now. Dawson Price sitting at about a half-second gap.
less than 10 laps to go. That's not a window you want to open up and leave for someone like Dawson Price. We know he's known to run away with these things out here when he gets a gap like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems pretty even now. A little bit quicker there for Christopher McCullough. A lot quicker there on entrance to the turn. Christopher McCullough, a lot faster that lap, Luke.
Yeah, and he's really starting to dig out here, Kevin. He wants that position. He wants the win.
That time around pretty even with 6 to go now. Dawson Price looking to hang on. Christopher McCullough looking to be a spoiler maker.
Six more laps in this thing. The question is, can Dawson Price hold it off?
Yeah, and just looking at Omar Rodriguez able to make the pass on Garrett Hummel and move up into a cleared P4.
And now Dawson Price just passing Danny Barnes right below the yellow back there.
Yeah, and that helps Christopher McCullough kind of gets him right there, but Danny Barnes, I didn't see a front end on that thing, Luke.
I did not either, Kevin. I also didn't see the front end. Probably helps a bit for air cooling, though.
Yeah, probably.
4 laps to go in this thing out here, and Christopher McCullough still trying to hunt this thing away from Dawson Price out here as he is on his bumper now.
Yeah, Sean Merriman trying to get back in the mix, too. He had a couple good laps there. Fortunately, I don't know if there's enough time to make 2 passes. So I think Christopher McCullough is going to be the man to try to do it here with 3 to go and 2/10 of a gap. Dawson Price doing some rear view driving at this point, just trying to hit his marks. And the lap traffic has begun.
And now it becomes interesting, Kevin, out here. We got just a couple laps left out here with lap traffic all around out here. Christopher's going to have to try to make his move here right in the middle of all of it. Dawson Price now going to try to use the lap traffic to his ability here and try to use it to make a little bit more distance between him and Christopher McCullough.
Yeah, and it helped him there, no doubt about it. The 11 car of Reynolds able to slow down Christopher McCullough. Two-tenths of a gap here. Another lapper coming up, and we are on our white flag here. 1 to go. Dawson Price trying to hang on and fend off a soaring 04 car of Christopher McCullough. About a 2/10 of a second gap, and here comes the lap traffic of Chad Strelo.
And now Christopher McCullough going to look to get a little bit of draft off of him. Then shoot the inside here now. And they're going to...
Shoots high.
Oh.
And tries to stick it, but it's going to be all Dawson Price as he overshoots it.
Clips the wall.
And how about Omar Rodriguez sliding through into
second
a P2
place.
spot?
Wow, and we saw Christopher McCullough try to stuff it on that outside. Tried to make do with what he could, but man, Dawson Price just had the speed to get it done.
Yeah, great run for Dawson Price. A great run for Omar Rodriguez. Once again, showing these guys out here.
Well.
Yeah, once again, showing these guys out here that the drive-through penalty paid for isn't holding them down.
No, it isn't. Not at all. And he's proved it multiple times in a row out here, Kevin. But tonight, victory lane shines on Dawson Price out here, able to get it done. And His brother finishing just outside of a top 5. He finished up in 6th place. Still no position to cry over. A very good finish for the Price brothers tonight.
Absolutely. Dawson Price burning it down here at the Milwaukee Mile, getting is it 3rd or 4th win out here for Dawson Price this season. So I'm looking at the standings, and he is extending his lead with that, and Omar Rodriguez extending his 2nd place.
Yeah, if I had to take a guess out here, Dawson Price is just getting practice for the playoffs out here, getting this many wins.
Yeah, absolutely. An 8-driver chase, and at the edge of that is Sean Merriman on the cutoff, so him getting a P3 out here tonight is definitely going to help him. Unfortunately, the guy he's competing with sitting in 8th place on the standings is Garrett Hummel, who finished right next to him, so both of them had a great race tonight.
Yeah, and a great race out there for all the guys that finished up there in those top positions.
How about this lineup now for LOC Motorsports? Getting some photos out here at the Milwaukee Mile.
Of course, of course. Just taking a peek at your race results out here. Dawson Price getting credited with the win. Omar Rodriguez in 2nd. Sean Merriman getting 3rd place finish. Garrett Hummel in 4th. Christopher McCullough finishing up in 5th, just to round out your top 5. Finished with 16 cars on the lead lap out here, and a great race out here. I believe now we will begin to roll on over into the interview section of the afternoon out here as we wait for the guys to get situated out here.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and get your 3rd place finisher, Sean Merriman, in here first, see what he has to say about the race. Hey, Sean, guys in the booth, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got.
Hey, man, what a race that was and what a finish. I know first, hey, about half, actually about, I think about 100 laps of green flag racing out here. We saw the green flag pit stops, and you had a very fast car throughout the whole race. Then on the short runs, everything started getting mixed up, and Dawson Price came out of nowhere. Do you think you had anything for him there on that last run, or do you think kind of P2, P3 was the finishing position?
Maybe if we got some more laps. I mean, I was really good on the long run. Kind of driving away there when we got that first caution on lap 100. Don't know how it would have shaked out if he would have. I don't know. I think somebody just missed pit road and sat there for a second. I don't know. It is what it is. But I've ran 2 laps here, and that was my 2 laps of qualifying. I'd never ran this car on this track. Somehow qualified 4th. I think I might have fallen back to like 6th the first couple laps, and then got to 3rd probably lap 12, 15, and I don't think I ever sat any lower than 3rd, so I'll take it. I mean, coulda, woulda, shoulda. I blew. I think we all blew 3 and 4 there on the last lap. If I would have just kept it clean, would have had 2nd there, and Omar slipped by, and this is what it is. It was fun. It was a workout. I mean, I don't think I've ever worked so hard and sweated so much in a race before. I mean, this was a lot of fun. Don't like flat tracks, but I had a lot of fun tonight.
Absolutely. I want to talk you through that kind of strategy. On the green flag pit stops, we saw you stay out a little bit longer than the other guys, and you really did start to pull away from them once you took your pit stop. You think anybody had anything for you if we stayed green throughout the race?
No. Fuel-wise, we had like 77 laps of fuel. It was a full tank, so you could one stop it. We were running green for so long, I was afraid to kind of split it up in thirds and 2-stop it in case we never got a caution. I would ruin my race if I had to pit twice and half the fuel didn't. So I ran it out as long as I could, and just driving away there. Jacob had a heck of a time trying to lap Heath, and somehow I breezed by both of them and took off. And if we never got that first caution, then cautions breed cautions. So, but managed to stay 3rd, mostly clean race. Had a couple 4X's there at the end that I don't like getting. I like staying as clean as possible, but did knock me out of 3rd, so I'll take it. Move on with my life.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, a great run here for you tonight, Sean. Congratulations on getting the podium finish out here. And you'd like to thank or shout out before we get you out of here?
Yeah, I got to thank Omar and his team with the Weeknight Warrior Sim Series. A lot of fun. This league's a lot of fun. I really look forward to Tuesday nights. especially getting through the workday Monday and Tuesday, starting the week. Going back to work Monday sucks. So at least I got something to look forward to Tuesday night. You guys for the broadcast, awesome job you guys do. My wife, my kid, parents, brother, sister, nieces, anybody out there watching, some guys have fun. Sim race on Tuesday nights. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate it, and congratulations, Sean.
Thank you guys.
Thanks. Now, Sean Merriman getting a P3 finish out here tonight in the 18 car. Next up, I want to interview is going to be quite a fun interview, I think, because we got a lot to break down with Omar Rodriguez. Hey, Omar, guys in the booth, you got a copy?
Hell yeah.
Hey, man, a lot of breakdown here for this race. We were trying to count the drive-throughs that you were serving. That first one, the very long green flag run. I know as an owner, you love to see it, but as a guy that was pinned a lap down, probably not too thrilled with how long that first green flag run went. But you're able to play a little bit of strategy, get your lap back with a wave around. And did those cautions help you out to get the second and third ones done?
You absolutely took the words from me. As an owner, I love seeing that. I think we had 90 laps green. That's incredible to start the race. But yeah, as a lap down, especially once the leaders started catching the back half of the field, and I just watched another car and another car, get the lucky dog spot over me, it was absolutely killing me, man. I think the caution came out. I mean, a caution really early would have been great, but a caution really late also worked because I passed so many cars on track physically that I had gotten into a wave around position that when the cautions came out, it just worked perfectly for me.
Absolutely, able to get it done and get back up there. Looking at the points, it was a very good day for you, but also a very good day for our points leader, Dawson Price. Now we're going to a track that has a lot of unknowns, but it seems like your team has been working very well. We're going to Talladega. How do you feel going into a team-oriented track like that?
I feel pretty good. I am the defending, quote unquote, defending race winner. I won our preseason race here, so I feel pretty good. But drafting tracks are always such a luck of the draw thing, especially if I get given an EOL or a drive-through. That could seriously pin me back in traffic, and I might not get so lucky next time out.
Absolutely. Well, as for tonight, you were able to push the drive-throughs aside and still get a top two finish out here. So congratulations on that. Is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out before we get you out here?
Hell yeah, man. I gotta thank you guys for showing up every week. All the good races, all the bad races. I'd like to shout out tonight's sponsor, Fast Fred's Wrap Shop. Dude makes amazing paint schemes. I'm gonna be partnering here with him pretty soon, and I'll be debuting a new scheme in the upcoming week or two. Um, Fred also does some of our track photography. I'm sure you guys have seen it on the server. He does some pretty great stuff. Oh man, I gotta thank my girlfriend for putting up with every Tuesday night being locked down. I want to thank my admin team. Just helping organize this ball of chaos I have going on. The teammates for keeping my head up while I was pinned a lap down and stressed. Uh, and all my drivers, I gotta thank each and every guy who just continues to show up week after week. Just putting their head down, getting through the season. It's been a season to remember, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So far, so good. A great race for you and a great race for LOC tonight. Congratulations, Omar.
Thank you so much, guys.
That was Omar Rodriguez getting second place out here after serving 3 drive-throughs, Luke. And I know if I get assessed a drive-through penalty in a race, usually I just hit a nice little Alt F4 and, out of sight, out of mind it. But he was able to overcome it and get into P2. Last interview I want to get in here is going to be the man of the hour, the guy no one could pass, Dawson Price. Hey, Dawson, guys in the booth, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, what a race and what a finish that was. We saw you on a couple of those restarts just, put yourself in a great position and get around that first time around, getting around Ty Carino and putting yourself to the point. And then, I want to talk to you about that last run because it seemed like Christopher McCullough on the fresher car was kind of the guy to beat. But you were able to keep pace with them on 20 lap older tires. You want to talk us through how that run felt for you?
Yeah, there at the end, at the beginning, at that last initial green flag, I think I had a good gap between me and Merriman, and I was like, okay, if I can maintain this, got to remember not to eat up the right front. Keep it down on the new pavement where it's grippy, and just dig out of the corner. And there for a while, he was reeling in, and he made a move, and then I was able to defend pretty well. I definitely, I think, had some good luck on my side tonight too, with just positioning and everything. Like the choice was right most of the time. But there with the with the O3, it was he came up there with new tires, and I was like, oh my gosh! I was like, I gotta lock in, like I gotta hold a steady wheel, get out of the corners, don't leave any gaps, like make it every corner, no mistakes. And I'm super happy I was able to hold him off there. It worried me there for about 10 laps or so when I saw him coming up, but we took her home.
Yeah, absolutely. And just kind of looking at a points perspective here, you got the lead, but the guy behind you just can't be held down. It's Omar Rodriguez fighting through the penalties he's been given. Now next week is kind of a team-oriented drafting track. Is it gonna be hard to work with someone you're fighting for that points lead, or is LOC gonna kind of just hold it down and try to get a good team finish?
I think, especially tonight, was big team focus for the team points, and we were able to like do great tonight. Like I'm so proud of all the LOC guys, the Apex guys out there with the good finishes today, because we're trying to make up some ground in the team points. So I think by the time we get there, it's probably going to be pretty team focused. Any drafting track usually isn't my strongest suit of racing. That's my weakest link, I think, track style wise. But if we can do what we can to get everybody a good finish, I think that would be huge. And try not to take each other out. But when it comes to the white flag, I mean, I don't know if anybody's teammates if we're in the right situation. So I guess we'll have to see. I definitely want to see a good team finish the next week.
Absolutely. And last thing I want to ask you about, I don't know if it was apparent at all here tonight at Milwaukee, but we saw an update to the ARC car with iRacing's update today. Did you notice any differences with the car?
Absolutely. I checked today after I updated my game. I'd forgot and went through and read the patch notes, and I was like, "Whoa, Arca car updates in the race tonight." I didn't run any practice until the session opened. Just hoping it wasn't too different, but man, I think it, I think it made it a lot better. Like I really liked the car feeling tonight with them getting rid of the rear sway bar or whatever it was, the anti-roll bar. Um, it really likes to rotate now mid corner. Before it would kind of plow, but I think now it's easier to get it moving with the pedals, get it turning with the pedals now. It definitely, I think, made them better to drive.
Absolutely. Well, a great finish here tonight, taking the checkered flag and getting the win for you and the team. Congratulations on that. Anyone like to thank or shout out before we get you out of here?
Thank you. I want to shout out the LOC guys, the Apex guys, the good finish today. Shout out my mom, my dad for watching. Shout out the flag man for giving me the checkered flag. Adapt them up. That's pretty cool. Shout out to you guys in the booth. Yeah, I think that's about all. Thank you
All right.
guys.
Well, we appreciate it, and congratulations, Dawson.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. That was Dawson Price getting the win out here in front of the fans at Milwaukee. Luke, what a race that was.
Yeah, Kevin, what a race. What a race indeed out here. And, I'll be honest. I saw, the mile-long track when we were getting ready to get this thing going, Kevin. We haven't ran this track ourselves, and I got to say, the first impression, just looking at it, I was thinking this is going to be just another mile track. But I'll be honest, the bankings and the turn differences and the flat turns completely changed this track into more of like, in my opinion, it almost feels like a short, long track, if that makes any sense. It feels like like a speedway in the long straightaways, but it really does feel like a small track up here when you get through these turns. So it makes it a very technical race through and through, and I think we saw a lot of that out here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a great race. I'm so glad we got to see green flag pit stops out here. Really add an aspect to the race. I know at one point we saw just like 12 or 13 cars on the lead lap. So that was definitely interesting strategy wise. And, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out and watching us. I'd like to give a huge thanks to Fast Fred's Wrap Shop. hit up me or Fred. If you don't know Fred's info, just hit me up and I'll direct you to Fred if you're looking for a sim wrap. He does great work. He also does great photography work if you're looking for a photographer. So hit me up if you're looking for any of that. Huge thanks to Omar. Huge thanks to everybody that gets WWSS on its feet week in and week out and lets us come and shoot the shit for a couple hours every Tuesday night. Huge thanks to all the viewers for coming out and all the drivers for making this happen, Luke.
Yeah, I think you about covered all the bases out here tonight, Kevin. And we'll see you guys all